E. I can't believe what I'm about to tell you. For months, I had this nagging feeling, this constant unease gnawing at the back of my mind. My fiancé, the man I thought I would marry, the one I thought I could trust with my life, wasn't who I thought he was. And what I discovered, well, what I saw with my own eyes, is something I still can't fully process. But before I tell you what I did next, I need to take you back to the moment it all started. The moment my entire world began to shatter. It wasn't anything huge at first, just small things, little changes in his behavior, a couple of late nights at work, a few extra hours spent on his phone, his face lit up by the blue glow of a screen, his expressions guarded. But I wasn't the kind of woman to jump to conclusions. I trusted him, or at least I thought I did. But there was something about the way he started pulling away that I couldn't ignore anymore. I had to know the truth. I had to know what was happening. That's when I decided to take matters into my own hands. I'm not proud of it. I'm not proud of the lengths I went to, the choices I made. But in that moment, I didn't care. I needed answers. And what I found, what I uncovered, it was beyond anything I could have imagined. But here's the thing. I didn't just catch him in a lie. No, it was so much worse than that. One night, after a long, exhausting day at work, I got home early, something I rarely did. The apartment was silent, save for the soft hum of the refrigerator in the kitchen. I didn't expect to find anything unusual, but when I walked past his desk, something caught my eye. A flash of light. It was his phone, sitting right there, unlocked, as if inviting me to look. I don't know what came over me. Maybe it was the alcohol coursing through my veins. Maybe it was the paranoia that had been building inside of me for weeks. But I picked it up. I opened his messages. I didn't even know what I was looking for. But I knew I'd find something, and then I did. A message from a name I didn't recognize. A woman's name. I should have put it down. I should have walked away. But curiosity, desperation even, had taken over. The message was personal. It wasn't just friendly conversation. It was flirty, seductive even. My stomach twisted, and a cold chill ran down my spine. I scrolled further, my heart beating faster with each message. I could feel it in my chest, the unmistakable feeling of betrayal. The words they shared were intimate, in ways I couldn't ignore. And that's when I knew. I knew something had to be going on. I wasn't going to sit there and let it consume me. I decided to confront him, but not immediately. Not yet. I needed proof. I needed hard evidence that would leave no room for doubt. Over the next few days, I watched him closely. I followed him when he thought I wasn't paying attention. I watched his every move, his body language, his phone, the way he looked at me when he thought I wasn't looking. It was all there. The tension, the secrets, the lies. But I needed more. I needed him to slip. And slip he did. It was a Friday night when it happened. He told me he was going out with some friends from work, that it would be a boys' night out. At first, I didn't think much of it. But then I realized I'd seen that boys' night out excuse before, and there was something about it that felt off. It felt rehearsed, like he was trying to cover his tracks. So, I did something I never thought I would do. I got in my car and followed him. I couldn't believe it. I wasn't sure what I was expecting to find, but my instincts were screaming at me to go, to follow him. So, I did. I trailed behind him from a safe distance, watching as he parked at a restaurant. A fancy place, one that I knew he wouldn't go to unless there was a reason, but the reason wasn't what I thought it would be. I parked down the street, trying to keep a low profile, and watched as he walked into the restaurant. But he wasn't alone. She was there too. The woman from the messages. The woman I had only seen in text, but now I saw her with my own eyes. They embraced as soon as they saw each other, and my stomach churned. They didn't just hug, they kissed. Right there in public, right in front of everyone. And that's when I realized, this wasn't just some innocent flirtation. This wasn't just a harmless text or a few stolen glances. This was an affair, an ongoing secret relationship, and it was happening right under my nose. I was paralyzed. My hands were shaking, my heart was pounding in my ears. I couldn't breathe, I couldn't think. All I could do was watch as they sat down at a table together, laughing, talking like they were the only two people in the world. And that's when it hit me. This is real. He was in love with her. He had been lying to me for who knows how long. The betrayal cut deeper than I ever imagined. The anger, the hurt, the humiliation, it all welled up inside me like a tidal wave. I wanted to scream. I wanted to confront them right then and there. But I knew that wasn't the answer. Not yet. I wasn't ready. I needed to think. So I did the only thing I could think to do. I pulled out my phone and started recording. I filmed everything. The way they touched, the way they laughed, the way he looked at her with that soft expression I hadn't seen in years. I filmed it all. And in that moment, I knew what I had to do next. I didn't confront him. Not right away. Not in the heat of the moment. No. I waited until the next day. I waited until he was back home, acting like nothing had happened. He walked in like it was a normal day, like he hadn't just shattered my world into 1,000 pieces, but I wasn't going to let him get away with it. I sat him down. I showed him the video. I'll never forget the look on his face when he realized what I had. He went pale. He started sweating. He couldn't even look at me. The guilt in his eyes was so overwhelming. It made me sick. And that's when I knew. He knew he was caught. He knew there was no way out. He tried to deny it at first. He tried to justify his actions, saying it wasn't what it seemed. But the more I played the video, the more the truth was undeniable. He was caught, and there was no escaping it. The words that came out of his mouth next were the words I'll never forget. "I never meant to hurt you," he said, his voice cracking. "I didn't want to lose you." And in that moment, everything shifted. My heart, which had been so full of love for him, was now cold. He had betrayed me in the worst way possible, and no amount of apologies could fix what had been broken. What I did next shocked everyone. I didn't scream at him. I didn't lash out in anger. Instead, I made a decision that I knew would change everything. I broke off the engagement, right then and there. I told him it was over. No second chances. No, we'll figure this out, or let's try to make it work. It was done. The look on his face was one of shock, disbelief. But I didn't feel bad for him. Not anymore. He had made his choice, and I had made mine. Walking away wasn't easy, but it was the only choice I had left.